is our wedding one, right? Except that my wife wore it on that day, right? So, so I like to start with a story of someone called Suvarna. Back in 2006, when she graduated, her income compared to everyone else was equal or very similar. Unfortunately, just in a span of 4.5 years, she ended up with an income which was only 60% compared to men. Now, the question that she asked the day that she realized that she was only getting 60% was, am I less competent? Am I less capable? Am I less responsible? Am I less committed? The answer to any of this was no. She was as committed, as smart, as competent as any of the others. And when I ask this question in our programs, 95% of the people say that they are going through something very similar. How many of you women here can relate to this? How many of you can relate to this? Majority of you, right? So, so the reality is, it's not that they're less competent. It's just that they have been told or they've been not valued enough generally in the world. This has been not today's problem. This has been for centuries. And even Indra Nui, for example, right, had to resist from wearing a sari if she had to attend a client's meeting. We have heard and seen this again and again and again. Not valued enough, not appreciated for the value that they add, or not said, okay, you, and mostly underpaid and then invalued. Now, when I started working on this mission back in 2011, so we started looking at how can we support in this situation. For example, so I was supporting Suvarna a little bit back in 2011, and then we started telling her, what can we do about it? How can you start making a difference? What are the things that you can do? And as she started implementing the steps and the principles, we started documenting it, and we started calling it the art of winning principle, right? And over the last many years, we have been very fortunate, and I speak behalf of the movement here, right? Thousands of volunteers have been contributing to this movement, and some of them are here with us here today. And we started taking support from some of the top global leaders. Many of them went on to become our partners. Somebody like Sridhar Sambandam, who was a CEO of Bajaj, somebody who's Chitra, who was a vice president of Pepsi, who was a Simon, who was a CEO of Aviva Singapore. All of us came together and said, can we start doing something about this back in 2000, starting from 2011, 12 onwards. And when I talk about women, right, so far we've been very fortunate to be able to make a difference and join, have around 26,000 plus women join this mission. It's been a humbling mission in the last many years. Thank you for that. So when I tell this, people ask me, Rajesh, all this is nice, who are you, right? So let me tell you a little bit about my background. I've been very fortunate to have some extraordinary women in my life. Starting from my great-grandmother. At the age of 23, she lost her husband. At the age of 30, she lost 5 of her 10 children. She brought up a family of 40 of us in my village. And I was witness to the kind of determination, the ferocity with which she lived her life and brought all of us up. I lost her at the age of 4, but the force that she created remained with me even today. Even today, I am surrounded by women all the time, right? This is my family. So 2 daughters, a wife, sister, mother-in-law. And even in the programs I conduct, I joke to people that, and people jokingly say that Rajesh is always surrounded by women. At the same time, I tell them that it's not whether whether at home or outside, my only purpose is to ensure that they get a fair deal. Right? Women are treated with the sense of respect that they deserve, and if we just give them an opportunity, they will be fine. And if we give them a space to do well, they'll do well. And from there, I've seen these extraordinary women in my life and other lives being abused, being taken for granted, not valued, and sometimes even raped. And it's been so painful for me to see. And at the same time, they are not the ones who are going to quit. They're not the ones who are going to give up. I'm a product of people who have dealt with every such challenge. And today I stand with you with the joy to say that we can do something about it, right? We will do something about it. And that's the mission that we're on, right? And as we begin the mission, right, I'm happy to say that if we commit to this, our daughters will have a better life. Our society will be better, isn't it? And happy to share with you also that this is the story of Suvarna. This is how it ended. It actually began the next role. 4 times growth in the span of 3.5 years. Extraordinary, implementation of the steps, the art of winning methodology that we were talking about. By the way, I'm also proud to say that I happen to be her proud husband, right? Yes. And it was her idea, and her idea and the implementation of some of the top CEOs and the thousands of volunteers who are a part of this movement, which has brought us here today. And our mission, which we will not start at least, okay, this is not the end. This is at least 1 million women at the top. Can we make that happen? This is the question that I ask all of us. Now, unfortunately, over the years, right? Over the years, the challenge is we seem to believe that women can somehow be given some kind of a diversity quota and everything will be all right. Somehow I seem to believe this. And it's so unfortunate for me to hear this, right? I was talking to one of the top heads of HRs of a public company. And with great pride, he said, in the last 3 years, we have reached 18.5%. Yeah, 18.5% from 17.2%. Great pride. Isn't it sad? Isn't it sad? Now I say, boss, if you're so proud about 18.5%, you should not be proud. You should be ashamed. We should be ashamed. And this is I'm not saying diversity is bad or wrong. I'm just saying, boss, what diversity are we talking about here? And all of us know, so we celebrate one CEO out of the thousands of CEOs out there. One CEO becoming this woman, we celebrate. Oh my God, she became a CEO. Oh, look at this. Everybody's going gaga about it. One CEO. Is that all? This is what the situation of diversity has made us do, right? Unfortunately, we are still talking about diversity. Where is the meritocracy? So to enable women to reach the top, we can't still talk about diversity. We got to talk about what they are capable of, what they are competent, how good they are, how great, phenomenal they are. Are you women all here not competent? Are you women here not competent enough to reach the top? What has society made us do or have in such a way? The situation, the society, the bias, the politics that has made us celebrate this 0.1% minuscule growth that we see in the world today. That is because we have still not given enough thought. Companies, even today, I speak to some of the top ones, they still talk about, oh, we'll do on some diversity initiative, photo on the Women's Day, and that's the end of the story. Now, if we enable women to be themselves, enable them to celebrate themselves, in fact, my 9-year-old daughter asked me, Papa, you talk about all this women empowerment, supporting women and all that, can you wear a sari? 9-year-old, think about it, right? And I said, why not? I thought it's easy. Little did I know the kind of, comments I would get, the kind of challenges that I would have, right? And I said, okay, now the time has come for men to empathize a little bit, at least with women. Men to believe and then start looking at what have we done in the society for centuries that we have reached the stage like this. I said, why not, right? So that's why I proudly, when I proudly wear a sari, I say that this is our wedding sari. It's just that she was wearing it then, right? All right. So meritocracy. What is meritocracy? How do we enable women to win big? How do we ensure each of the women is given the opportunity, the ecosystem, the support, and the in-depth the kind of mindset that can enable them to reach the top. What can we do? So let's go back in history to understand this situation. Yesterday was ruled by muscle men. Physical strength was everything. The one who had the biggest nuclear bombs was the ruler. Unfortunately, when everybody has a nuclear bomb, doesn't matter anymore. Isn't it? When everybody is a Pailwan, nobody cares about the Pailwans anymore. What happened? So slowly the situation shifted. Today's world is ruled by mind power. Yesterday, nobody called muscle women. It was all muscle men, right? There's not even a concept of muscle women. It's all muscle men ruling the world to their physical strength. Today's world is ruled by mind power. We talk about artificial intelligence, the machine learning and this and that. So everything is ruled by the power of the mind, right? So logic rules. Is it enough? We all seen what happened in the last few years, right? With the pandemic, the countries which had the women prime ministers did the best in the world today. Why? Because today's world requires the power of the feminine. But the Parashakti, the womanhood, the world requires leadership driven by empathy, emotion, intuition, intention, the right brain, creativity. How much do we have that? Most organizations can't even think about it. Most companies, most people cannot even think about this yet. They're just slowly opening their eyes, right? Unfortunately, even the top business schools, top ones in the world, are doing precious little. Once in a while, you run a women leadership program and do something about it, or cut a ribbon and showcase has happened. Nothing happens about that, isn't it? And so also there is this concept of networking events. What happens in networking events? With no clarity of what is the outcome, it slowly turns into informal chit-chat sessions. Is it enough? Can we not do something very deeply and powerfully to support people? This is a question we asked 5-6 years ago, and that's the movement that's got started, and the movement came into picture. And this is the insights. We realized there are 8 categories of support and in-depth work that we need to do with women to enable at least 1 million women to reach the top. And what are those? Out of the 8, I have listed 4 of them here, right? 1, can we enable women to become board members in some of the best companies? Number 1. Number 2, can we enable women in mid-career? Some of them have taken a break for one child or 2 child or something like that. Can we enable mid-career women to deal with their mid-career challenges, maybe get better roles and better jobs, quickly grapple with the capability gaps that they have, and then start reaching the top again? Can we enable beginning of the career women, for example, before they go on maternity breaks, can we support them with how to plan their career and life ahead? Can we enable 10 standard, girls come first in every state, 10 standard. After that, everything goes for a toss. Can we enable teenage children to deal with the challenges right from the beginning? These are the 4 things that we have identified. Based on this, we said, how can we enable women to win with this war tactics? Because if you look at the war tactics, we have developed some 27 principles where we can enable women to reach the top with deep impact. I'm going to share the 3 of them with you right now. 1, never ask women to balance. How many of you women here have heard women should compromise? You should compromise, isn't it? Family comes first, isn't it? Now, nicely put in sugar-coated words, it's called balancing. Women should balance. And they're trained in balancing. Highly trained, balanced. Now, I say men should balance, learn to balance. Women should actually learn to maximize. What is the meaning of it? Do not ever say, right, I will somehow compromise. I say, boss, a fantastic career or a business and a very, very joyful personal and family life. And not or. The time for or is over. Let's stop balancing. Let's stop compromising. Train them in maximizing. Support them with tools and techniques to maximize. This is the first part. The second part is enable them to build their brands, differentiate. Most girls, since from childhood they are told, right? Beta, don't go out. Beta, don't shout too loud. My sister is named Rekha. I'm named Rajesh. Rekha means straight line. Right? You should be like straight line. And you know what happens to straight lines, right? They get cut first. Right? So what do we differentiate, stand out, enable them to build their own brands, right? And accelerate. Don't just build your brand. Accelerate your brands. When you come back from the maternity break or any such breaks or anything that happens, do not sit back and say things will happen. Support them in accelerating and building their brands. Use what tactics to build the brand. Differentiate means what people will say, haha, TK, it means that I will write one blog. No, a blog doesn't make a brand. If you want to build an extraordinary brand, you got to be on the extreme. Don't stand on the middle ground and say somehow I will build my brand. Nothing will happen. Unfortunately, women are not trained in differentiating like this, standing out like this. Here are two studies, two people I want to share. I'm very, very proud of some of these extraordinary women who have gone on to reach the top just in a span of last 3-4 years. Here is somebody called Neha, GSI leader at India at Amazon today. Last 2.5 years, she built her extraordinary brand and reached the top. I'm so proud of some of these extraordinary thousands of women who have made it happen right at the top. Right? At the same time, I must tell you something. While we talk about brand, building this brand, the number of times I have cried in some of these sessions, right? When people speak about, right, the biggest challenges of politics, the bias, the kind of abuse, things like this. Oh, you are very beautiful. She was not hired to be beautiful. She was hired to do a job. Please, let's understand this. People tell me my beauty is appreciated more than my brains. Abuse from people, right? But let me assure you that women are more than competent to deal with all these challenges. They will, isn't it? Right? When we enable them to build their brands, when we enable them to deal with some of these small issues, right? They are not small, by the way, but if they can't treat it as something that can be dealt with, it will become small for them, and they will deal with them. And people like Pushpa, who built 100 crore business in a record time, building her brand. I can tell you thousands of such cases studies. Some of them are here in this room, who will win. Mansi Chandrachud, who asked me to come and share with Lokesh here, built her brand brilliantly. Thousands of women are building the brands. My challenge to each one of us is, can each one of you start focusing on building your brands, stand out, right? The next one, the third one is called pitch shamelessly. People misunderstand me when I say this, right? Pitch shamelessly means what? Women are told very often, don't negotiate. Be satisfied with what you have. Isn't it? How many times have you been told, isn't it? Oh, don't ask too much. Be satisfied. My question is, can we enable women to ensure they are pitching, asking from their families, from their bosses, from the investors, from the customers, pitch shamelessly. You only get what you negotiate, not what you deserve. Please, let's enable women to understand this and keep pitching. Stand up for what you believe in. Stand out from the world out there. Each one of us, each one of you women can make things happen for yourself. Let's ensure at least a million women reach the top. We need thousands of initiatives. Ours is only one. Let's ensure that we build these extraordinary initiatives, institutions that can make this happen. By the time that our daughters, my daughters and your daughters turn 30, if we can build this world, I can tell you miracles can happen for the next generations. Let's make this happen. Thank you.